What's going on, everybody? Gabriel here, and today, as tradition, we have the washer and dryer going. Sorry, I had to do some laundry, but today we're going to be working on the BRZ yet again. I'm putting in so much love to this car because, I mean, I have a lot of things that I need to put on and I don't have a lot of time, so this is the time that I'm able to do it. So we're just going to be doing a quick little tune-up, basically air filter, cabin air filter, a belt, and the spark plugs. So my car's at 65,000 miles, and it's time to get those spark plugs changed. So I'm gonna go ahead and tackle that job. I don't have my engine lift. I could unbolt the mounts and do all that good stuff, but I decided not to. I'm just gonna go ahead and tackle it the way that some people have tackled it, which is basically just doing it from the top. They said it takes about an hour, so we'll see how true that is. I doubt it, but yeah. So from what I understand, basically you just remove this cover, that cover, and the ECU on that side, and then you gotta snake your hand. Good thing is I have a few ratchets that are super long, so I'm able to just put it on there and ratchet the stuff out. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, so to kick this off, basically we're gonna remove the sound tube generator. Disconnect the battery first because we're gonna be working with the alternator. I want to just move that wire out the way. It looks like it's gonna be easier that way. So we're gonna disconnect the negative terminal. We're gonna go ahead and pull off the sound tube generator. We're gonna pull off this tube here just to get access to the belt. So I'm gonna do that now, and this is what it looks like. And just like that, this cover came out. This is a little difficult to take out just because of the wiring for the computer. Kind of blocked the way of the second hole, which is right here on the side. So I just kind of like detached the little brackets holding the wires in right here, and it gave me some play to move it, and then I used an extension and just blasted it off. But so yeah, I mean, I can see why some people don't remove the motor mounts. If you see here, get that light. So you see there's the ignition coils. There looks like they're held in by a 10 millimeter. So like right there, the corner, and then right here at the corner, and then they should pull out. But just the harness looks like it might be a little bit of some work to pull out. So I'm gonna try to play with it, see how I can take it out, and then I'll explain how I did it. And I took my first coil out, so that actually wasn't too difficult. Basically what I did was, luckily I have these this super long handle 3/8 drive ratchet, so I was able to basically just go in there, break it loose, and then this is the hard part. This is where you want your engine to be pretty much cold. My engine is still pretty warm, but basically I snaked my hand there, and then with these two fingers I basically just twisted the bolt out and it pulled out. Then you're able to, I was afraid that the coil here was too long and you weren't going to be able to hit it because it's up against the frame rail, but basically it has just enough space for this to come out, and then you can kind of take the clip out. It's a weird clip, but basically it's like I don't know if you guys seen fuel injectors or Volkswagen clips. Basically it's this thing here, and that you pull this up, and then once this is up and out, then you're able to kind of pull the injector, well, not the injector, but the little connector off of this thing here, off the coil. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and take out the other one, and we'll pull the spark plugs out and we'll compare and we'll see what they look like, because I'm really curious to see what 65,000 mile boxer coils look like. And here it is. So that was a lot of no fun. I had to go to the parts store to get a 14. This is a 14 millimeter socket, 12 point magnetic spark plug socket. I only had a 5/8, which is the normal common size, but these are just a little bit smaller. Now the actual size is 9/16, but they didn't have a magnetic one, so the 14th actually worked out pretty well. And I prefer magnetic over the rubber because the rubber can fall out, and the magnetic ones just are a little bit better. that was a real pain in the ass. I'll tell you how I did it. So basically what I did was, I'm gonna kind of like visually demonstrate, but basically I put this into the hole itself. So like I literally just fished this down, put it into the hole by itself. I got this extension and then I went ahead and put it here on the end and plugged it in. And then I got my long handle, and because these are push button, I had to push it, put it in, and then turn it until like it broke loose, obviously. And then I turned it enough until it stopped. Fished this out, which is pretty hard to push the button because it's not like a flathead, it's not a slim head. And then had to pull it back and then out, and then with this end just sticking out just enough, I was able to kind of just like kind of twist it with my fingers. And then once I did that, I had to, with one hand, pull this out, push this back, like basically because it's like this, right? So with one hand, I had to, not being able to do this, but I was having to push it from here. I had to push this out and leave this in there. Then I grabbed my flexible magnet and then I pushed the magnet in here to pull this out with the spark plug, and that's how I was able to take it out. So it's quite a process. It's actually really difficult. And now looking at the back one, the frame rail spacing here is like 3 finger, right? But the frame rail spacing here is 2.5. So it's gonna be really difficult for me to pull out this to do the same. I can see why people would unbolt the engine mount and then just like slightly move it, so then that way they can have, you know, some more clearance. I understand that. I honestly don't want to do that, so I'm just gonna do the struggle, the long struggle route and change them. But inspecting the spark plug here, it was definitely time to change them. There's this little orange line, which usually means like a little bit of blowback from the spark plugs, I believe. So these were definitely on their way done already. As you can see here, there's no oil on it, which means it's good. It looks like it's got a little bit of buildup on the end of the tip of the spark plug. It's got some type of buildup. But I think otherwise it just looks like it's burning normal. I don't know exactly what these are supposed to look like, but to me these look like pretty decent, evenly worn out spark plugs. So the first one here on the passenger side front looks pretty good. This is the new one, the new OEM Denso one. It looks exactly the same. We're gonna put a little bit of just very slightly little bit of anti-seize and a little bit of dielectric grease, so then that way these could I don't know, just so I always do that to every spark plug. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Basically the reverse way, I'm gonna put this in, right? I'm gonna put this in, then I'm gonna put it into the hole, put that, and then do it basically in reverse. So yeah, I'm gonna do that now, and then I'll move on to the next one, and I guess I'll just show every spark plug once they're out. And after a lot of cursing, a lot of cutting my arms, I finally put in all the 4 spark plugs. So I still had to put the coils back on. One of the coils on this front side I didn't remove or unclip. I thought like I shouldn't have to unclip it, which is kind of true. The other one I kind of did, so I have to put that one on with the bolt. And then I did remove this little bracket that was right here holding these lines because it was scratching my arm up super bad, if you can kind of see that. So yeah, scratching up my arm pretty bad on both sides. This one not that bad. Both on this side, so I have it here with the other piece somewhere. So I'm gonna put that back. But yeah, I mean, I dropped a bunch of tools. I dropped like 2 screws only, which is great. I'm gonna just say this: if I had to do this again, I wouldn't. Like no, like there's 2 things that I don't ever really want to do again that I kind of like swore off doing them ever. So like the first is drum brakes. I'm never doing drum brakes. I know like in one of my last videos I did the parking shoes. I actually wasn't that bad, but drum brakes I'm never touching again ever in my life. Like I'm paying someone to do the drum brakes for sure. And apparently the spark plugs on a FRS BRZ, never touching them again unless the motor's out. No, I'm not. This was like ridiculous, like the amount of time. So I think I have 3 hours in it. Once you get a system down, it kind of becomes like a little bit easier. It's just the tolerances to work in are just ridiculous. So I did attempt to change the belt, but unfortunately the belt that I have is just like, it seems like it's a 1/4 inch too small, maybe like half an inch too small. The other one slips on and off fine, and I know it might be because of it's being stretched, but I never have to fight with the belt so much. And I tried everything, like I literally tried different ways to putting it on, to routing it, and I just couldn't put it. The tensioner was all the way. I did find that both of the idler pulleys were making noise, so that's actually going to be on my list of getting that done. Also, I'm gonna buy an OEM belt. I'm weird like that. Like I bought an aftermarket belt, a Gates belt, and it just didn't seem like it was like the right size, which is a little bit weird. So I'd rather just get an OEM belt, and then if the OEM belt doesn't go on, then that's totally my fault. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just button everything up and put everything back together, start her up, and then check it out. So yeah, we're also replacing the air filter because this filter is pretty gross. So this has, I can't remember how much, but this is an OEM Toyota Subaru filter that I put in. I think I put this in at 50K, so it's already pretty gross. And yeah, so I have a new one. I hate putting on the air filters as well. Something about the box just doesn't sit right. I do plan on changing to a sound tube, like some type of tube at some point. I want to delete the sound tube generator. I love the way the engine bays look without it because it just looks more free. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead, button everything up, put it all back together, and then we'll give it its first start. Alright, so everything's put back together. It was actually a lot easier to put everything back together. It's not actually that hard. Put in the new air filter, put in the new I tried to put the clutch line, but the line that goes from the master to the actual line itself was starting to strip out, even though I do have the correct flare nut wrench, but it was still like starting to strip out. I hate when that happens. That happened last time when I did the brake lines, if you guys remember, and I had to like fix it. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start it, and fingers crossed it starts with no issues. So I'm gonna set it down. Sounds good. It's idling pretty normal. Sounds good. There it goes, idling where it's supposed to be. Fans kicked on because I have the AC on. Sounds smooth, sounds good, and I'm good. I'm happy. I think job well accomplished. So yeah, can you do the spark plugs on a BRZ FRS by yourself? Yes, you can. You don't have to remove the motor mounts. You don't have to lift the engine. You don't have to do all of that, all that good stuff that it says. Would it be helpful? Yes, because I read the service manual and it does say to put the engine on some test blocks and then lift the engine up basically 2 inches away from the frame rail. Can you do it? Yes, you can. You're gonna have scratched arms and damaged hands and lots of sweat. So yeah, you're gonna put in a lot of work, you're gonna have a lot of sweat, you're gonna have a lot of dirtiness. Can you do it? Yes, you can. I wouldn't do it again. I'm never doing it again. I will pay someone to do this again because I'm not doing it, straight up. So at 130K, whoever's wanting to go ahead and do this, go ahead and hit me up right now. Anyway, so with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please drop them down below. I don't have any pictures of how I did it, so I'm sorry if I can't, but I can illustrate to you how I did it. That way you have an idea if you're looking to tackle this job, because a lot of a lot of videos that I saw weren't really that helpful, but I mean, like I said, I used a 14mm magnetic spark plug tool, a 3-inch extension, a long handle wrench, and just my hands, and a lot of patience and a lot of cursing. So with that being said, if you guys have any other questions, please drop them down below. Please don't forget to subscribe, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button. It helps us create more videos for the channel, and we hope to see you on the next one. Peace.